This is one of the biggest threats for your career and your projects. And of course, I'm also going to tell you how to avoid it. My name is Guilherme and I'm a project management specialist. I help professionals to become successful project managers. Before I start, make sure you like this content here. This will help this content to get to more people and more people can develop their skills into project management and also avoid this threat in their career. But also, if you like this video, you help me to understand the value that this has for you. So it's very important here. And of course, if I see that's very valuable for you, I'm going to create more content because if your goal is to develop your project management skills, my goal is to support you in this journey. And also, this content here is part of the warm-up for the Project Management Summit. The Project Management Summit, it's a free event I'm going to make there. So I'm going to make four sessions there with different content to help you how to improve your project management skills. This event for you that wants to start with project management but you do not know where. This event is for you that you are in the beginning of your career, your project management career, but you are looking for guidance and how you can further develop your skills to reach the success, maybe to get a promotion, to go for bigger projects, maybe to get a better position, and so on. The event, everything is free here, so make sure you subscribe it there. So let's go for the content from today. One of the biggest threats that I see for anybody's career, and that's also one of the biggest threats that I see for a lot of projects, is you can name it in several different ways. But one of the things, the way I like to call it, the syndrome of the I already know it. And what is that? Let me explain that. What's the syndrome you already know it? Probably you've seen someone that have been working with anything and you tell him, hey, but what if you do something? Do you know? Or you say any type of phrase, and this person say, yeah, I know that. Yeah, I've already learned that. And why I'm saying this is it's a very blocking point for your career. I think I've met and I've worked with I think probably hundreds of people in my career so far. I have been working with project management since 2009. I've worked in four different industries so far. I've worked in different countries, different types of projects from energy construction for product development, automotive product development, semiconductor, service development, healthcare industry, and supply chain development. And in all those places, I find those people that have this syndrome that I already know that. And how do you see that? How is that and how does it manifest? Basically, are those are the people that they think they know everything or they think they know something. For example, if you tell people about project management, if you tell people that they need to study something, if you tell them to go for, I don't know, PMI conference, if you tell them to learn something about the new PMBOK, Kanban, Scrum, MS Project, or any type of skill that they're what they're going to tell you. I already know that. That's invariably what they say. I've seen people say, ah, maybe let's do like people talking about PMP. I'm going to do the PMP, then you need to study, and then you get some project managers even told me, I already know that. I'm pretty sure that I could teach that, which in fact they cannot. If I can tell, if I have to say the truth. But because they have this limitation in their minds that I do not know, they think they are already better, they already know something. But the fact because they have this mindset limitation and because they have this position that avoids that they are going to learn something new, that avoids that they can progress into something, that avoids that they are going to look for something a different way. And this is something that you're going to see for basically everyone. At some level, you can find those kind of things in everyone and in all types of professional. I've seen very senior professionals close to retirement, 60 and something there. And when you say, for example, about Kanban method there, then they say, I already know that. Because they think that's exactly, they say, Kanban, I already know Kanban. Or they have a vague idea what's a Kanban because they've seen a Kanban board, very simple one. as like to do, doing and done, or to do in progress and done. And they say, I already know Kanban. So are they not willing to at least listen what's there so they can learn and improve in themselves? So, but what happening is if someone that's really close to the retirement, I'm not saying that's right, but I can kind of understand their point. They say, they are going to work on maybe 1 or 2 years, a couple of years, they're retired and they do not want to learn that. If that's the situation at this age, not saying that's the nice thing to do. I think you should always look into ways for improving, because if you are not learning, if you're not growing, basically you are dying, in my perspective. It's okay. But I've seen that the same exact attitude with people of about 20 years, 20, sometimes 25, 26. And that's a level of arrogance there, because if you think you know that, and if you say, I already know that. Well, first of all, if you already knew project management that well, with that age, you would have the results. And I see people saying that I already know that. I already know waterfall. I already know Scrum. I already know. But then you ask them, have you ever worked in a project before? And a lot of times the answer is no. Then how can you tell me that you already know everything there's to know there if you never even did that? It's like you tell me that you know how to swim, and I tell you, have you entered a pool in your life? And say, no, I've never been inside a pool. How can you tell me that you know how you know how to swim? And why I'm saying, first of all, let's talk about our career, then I'm going to get to your project. Why this is one of the biggest threats of your career? Because if you are in the level that you think you already know everything, so if you know the stages of learning there, the level 0 or the level 1, it's the level that you think you know, or you don't know. But if you cannot move to the next level that you know that you do not know, or you have a conscience that say you need to learn something, you're not never going to learn something. And why this is so blocking for your career, or that's so why it's so threatening for your career? Because you simply are not going to learn. You're going to be the type of professional that you might do the same fucking thing for, I don't know, 5, 10 years, and you're not going to learn much. You're not going to develop new skills. You're going to be left behind. So this is a huge threat that I see there everywhere. And I'm going to tell you also one of the ways that you can use to mitigate that, because when I'm mentioning that threat, and I mentioned in the beginning that happens with everybody in some type of level. Some people they have different ways to manage it and different triggers to try to avoid it. And I'm going to tell you my own way, because everyone has it. I also have it. And I'm going to tell you how I handle that. So if you're a professional and you think that you already know everything, you're not open to new knowledge, to new experience, then you are going to have a problem, because you're going to get stuck in your career, and more you get stuck, less you're going to like it, and more you're, depending on the people, the person, more you're going to close and say, yeah, I already know that, that's bullshit. And then more you're going to find excuses why you cannot progress in your career. Then you put yourself a victim situation there of say the world is not fair or whatever, and then you're not going to progress, and then maybe you're going to lose your job or anything else. So that's something that's very dangerous for you as a professional. But why this is also very dangerous for your project? Because if you have this idea that I already know that, you come there's a big chance that you're going to reflect this personal behavior in your project also, meaning that you're going to make much more assumptions and you tend not to check it, because you say, I already know that. Or you're going to say, this team member, he already know that. Because you are in a stage that first you're not willing to check your assumptions, because you say, if I'm 100% sure of something, even though I know it's an assumption, I'm not going to check it. Because if it's a certainty for you, say I don't need to check it. It's a given, right? And you're going to take this attitude also working with your team members. Then you're going to say, oh, these people, they already know what's going on there. This team member here, he already know what's going on there. And what's going to happen? A lot of issues will pop up because assumptions are one of the main source of issues that you have in a project. And of course, all projects have assumptions, and you're going to need to make assumptions to move forward with any type of project. What's important? That you also manage those assumptions. You constantly checking those assumptions to see if they are true or not, or if they are realizing or not, and you replace them with new assumptions when needed. But also, you do not make assumptions regarding your team. You do not make assumptions when you talk about communication. You see everywhere that communication is always a challenge for projects, for organization, for people. And I understand that communication is, I'm including myself, so I also participate in this challenge as with everyone else. What do I try to do in a different way? Is I try always to confirm if the message I'm delivering is understood at least at some type of level. There's different ways you can do that. For example, if you say something, you can ask to people, does it make sense? Can you rephrase it to make sure that I made myself clear? Or try to make, can you rephrase it just to make sure that I deliver the right I deliver the right message for you there? Or there's a different ways. Uh, or someone tells you something to you, you say, maybe let me, can I'm going to rephrase it the way I understood, and can you help me to confirm if that's correct or not? There are several different ways, but don't have this idea of I already know that, because this is uh, this is a limiting this is a limiting way of thinking. This is a limiting mindset, and that's going to block your development. That's going to block your performance. That's going to create issues in your project, and that's of course if you're not learning something new, you are not developing new skills, and you have a project that's full of problems that you don't know, and that also you're not even willing to work on, or when you get to know the problems, they hit you in your face. Well, you're not going to be successful because people will see it that okay, you're not trying to work with your team to drive your team to achieve something. You're just taking things for granted and you are moving forward. I've heard it a few weeks ago from a project manager that he told me, I've never checked my timeline because I know if my team, if they are working in the things that they should and they are not reporting any problems to me, we are on time. I was like, what a fuck kind of mindset is that one? And by the way, I've heard that from a project manager that he was with 3 or 4 projects in red and struggling in escalation mode. And I was like, yeah, of course. Now I know why your project is in the escalation mode. Because you have this fixed mindset that you think you know already everything. You think you're the best person in the world, that you are good, you are better than other people. That's why you're not going to put the work because you believe you do not need to do that because you already know. I know better, right? And this is the type of mindset that's going to kill you. That's going to kill your career. You hear these people saying, I have been doing that for 20 years. We have been doing that for 30 years. But okay, why are you doing that? And those people, they cannot explain why they are doing that, for God's sake. And doing the same thing for exactly 30 years does not show anything, except that you're just fucking doing the same thing for the 30 years. Come on. Because the world has been changing the past 30 years. There's new skills, new type of knowledge, new software, new technology, artificial intelligence, world is changing. You need to learn how to adapt. You need to learn how to be flexible. So stop having this idea that's saying, I already know that. And say, okay, what can I learn in this situation? That's what you should do it. And I know sometimes because a lot of times you fight with your own ego. And when I say you fight, it's exactly the same with me. I also have my own ego, and I work daily to try to keep it under my control and making sure that I'm directing my life, not my ego, that's directing my life. So when tells me something that I'm sometimes, of course, someone tells you you don't like to hear it, and you say, I already know that. I mentioned to you that happens with everybody. That may already happens with me. What what do I usually do? I ask a follow-up question in my own mind. But what if this person has a point that I do not understand? What if there's something else there that I don't know and but can help me? There's a big change when I do that because once I ask the question, what if I start to think, okay, but if this person is saying that, what he or she is seeing that I'm not seeing? Then it gets me thinking. And sometimes I just go after it. And then I go to try to learn. And sometimes you figure, okay, I understand what this person is saying, and yeah, I already know that. I'm already doing that. So there's no news. That might be 50% of the cases, sometimes most of the case, depending on your experience, where you're working on, and everything else. But I can guarantee to you that there's going to be a lot of times there, maybe 30%, 40% of times there, or depending on your level of experience, even more, that you're going to figure out, oh, but that's interesting. I did not know that. And if you change your mindset, you can have this automatic reaction that happens with everybody, that also happens with me. But make sure that you also include a conscious automatic reply also there. Say, what if scenario? What if there's something else to me to learn there? What else I can do there? Say, so if you are hearing, wow, waterfall, I already know waterfall. I have been working with project management for more than 13 years. I'm a trainer. I have my program to develop it, and I can tell you that from time to time I'm studying different tools, different ways. I'm looking for different cases how a project is executed with waterfall. I'm usually looking for a different case of Scrum. I'm looking for a different case with Kanban. I'm attending trainings. I'm attending conference. Why? Because first of all, I love this growing mindset. I love learning. That's for sure one of my drivers. I love the variety of knowledge, developing my skills and the growth. Because when I'm growing, I feel the progress, and when I feel the progress, I feel happy. So that's important for you to know. So that will help you also to be more happy with what you are doing. But then this what if scenario, it avoids me to get stuck it. For example, I can tell you, sometimes I got feedback in my career and people say, yeah, but if you could try to do this, or tell this person that, and I was like, ah, fuck it. I already tried to do that. I already tried this. I already tried that, and it does not work. This person. Then I was like, even if I'm doing just to say, okay, what if? Okay, I'm going to try it at least to show this person that I took his feedback. And sometimes I did that and I say, guess what? It did work. Then I go back to this person. The person, of course, appreciates it because in this case, he will say, oh, this person is able to learn. This person is coachable. And then they say, so I can give more feedback, then I can help this person to develop faster. And this is one of the very important things because if you have this I already know that syndrome, you're not coachable. And I'm not sure if you know Michael Jordan, probably people say that he was the best basketball player of all time. I'm not sure if you argue that he's not the best of all time, but for sure he's in the top of the list. And there's a video of him saying that people think I'm special, that I have a special gift or something else. what happened to me is I'm very coachable, and I'm willing to work much harder than anybody else. That's why I was one of the best of all times. And how do you connect that with what I just told you about I already know that? Because if you have a I already know mindset, you're not coachable. If you're not coachable, you have a problem. And I'm saying that why this is so important because I'm a trainee, I have my project management development program where I train people and I guide them into project management and how to develop their skills and so on. So I have been doing that for a while. I've worked with different people, men, women, different people in different countries and so on. And what I see with some people is that they're not willing, they're not coachable. Meaning I tell them, hey, maybe you should try to go in that direction. And here is not to say because I'm perfect, I'm special, I have a God-given, I have a gift given by God or something like that. It's because I'm in that position because I have been working with project management for a long time. I've seen different scenarios. I continue to study, I continue to apply myself to improve my skills there. So if it's someone that's in the early stage of their career, very likely I can give them right direction or very good orientation in how to proceed. And not that everything will be perfect, it will work all the time, but of course that's part of adapting that you needed there. But when I tell them and say, even people tell me, I want to learn project management, then say, okay, I have a program, you need to follow those steps so you can learn and develop yourself. And the person told me, yeah, but I think I already know that. But I don't want to follow the steps. I'm going to find a case and I'm going to do it the way I want. And of course, for me, it's like it's your life, it's your career, right? If you don't want to take my advice, you can go and try yourself. But this person come back to me, I tried a case, I do not understand it. And say, yes, that's exactly why I suggest you and I guide you to do the other way around. Because I know. And with this fixed mindset to tell me, I already know that, hearing that from people that have never worked with project management, that's a level of arrogance. And by the way, if you say that to me or if you ever told that to me, nothing personal, but when you say that, you sound as arrogant with an ego from the size of the moon. Because if you've never worked with project management in your life, don't tell me just because you did a training or you did a master that you already know everything. I can tell you that studying something is different than executing something. Uh, Reading a book on how to swim, from it's very different from jumping into a pool. So avoid that you get stuck in this fixed mindset because that will block you and why people think one of the reasons why people follow in that trap, it's because they want to go or they want to find a easy solution for something, and in most of those cases there is no easy solution. What's the solution? You need to train your fundamentals, you need to get experience, you need to repeat it, learn, try again, get feedback, improve it, study more, try something new, take action, progressing. So if you're following there, if you're doing that, you're going to develop your mindset, you're going to develop your knowledge, and you're going to develop your skills. Those three go together there. And just because you did some developing your knowledge does not mean exactly automatically you got the skill or you got the mindset there. So be present for that because that will make a huge difference into your career. That will make a huge difference to your project. And why I'm saying I'm kind of mixing, of course, what you do personally and what you're going to do in your project because in reality it happens like that. Because the person that says I've already known that is the person who say do you know when the supplier X is going to deliver, blah, blah, blah? And he says, oh, it's next week. Then you say, how do you know that? Did you confirm that? No, 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 because that's what we asked them to do it. And then you're going to say, go and ask the supplier. And when they go and they ask the supplier, they're going to find out the supplier is 5 weeks late, or even more, or whatever. They're going to find that the supplier was waiting for whatever reason and a different information. And you're good, different case here. You're going to say, oh, do you know if the person did that? Yeah, yeah, he or she should do it by tomorrow. How do you know that? Have you talked with the person? And no, no, but that's what I told them to do it. And then you're going to say, okay, go and talk with the person. Then they're going to say, oh, but I thought you would do something. I thought you would send me an information first, or I thought you would confirm something first. I thought we would go for a different path. And this kind of behavior is going to repeat. More you say those things, I know that, more you tend to repeat this behavior with your team. More you're going to tend to take assumptions as givens and ignore them. More risks that you're going to have, more risks you're going to take because you are not even aware that you're going to take more risk. More issues you're going to have, more issues are going to hit you in your face. And that will make also you look bad because if you have a problem, we have a project with a lot of issues, you don't know how to do it. A lot of them could have been avoided, and people just look for you, say, "What you're doing that? You're not a good project manager because you're not doing a job as a project manager. You're just taking assumptions that everything will work out, and something important for you. If every assumption, everything that you think as a given, it is a given in a project manager would not be required because the team would get together, would align in everything, would take the actions, and would get everything done. So you ask someone to do a plan in the beginning, you tell a team, go and execute it, and the project would be done. And that's the way they tried to do it in the past. There's organizations probably trying to do it today. And what happens? That does not work. The projects do not work like that. The projects usually fail because it's required to understand what's going on. It's required to confirm assumptions. It's required to take the I already know syndrome and throw this away and say maybe I'm taking the risk here to be stupid, but let me ask this question here to double confirm. Do that with your team. Do that with people. Say, yeah, I already studied waterfall, but let me see here your perspective. I might be able to learn something new. Be humble there. Stop putting yourself in a student position. Again, coming back to the 5 stages of learning. The first one is I don't know that I don't know. When you say that I already know that for a lot of things that you are not even you have no idea, you are in the stage that you are not even aware that you don't have the knowledge. Once you get to aware of the knowledge, the next step is getting aware of the knowledge, then the next one is start to learning it, start to practicing it. So at some point you get in a stage for the stages of learning that you can master it. But you never go through those steps if you already think that you already know everything. And no offense here, I've done that myself in the past. Sometimes I did that myself. I already know that. Then I start to learn, saying, but there's more I can learn here. I say, oh, so there's more I can learn here. Then let me study more. Then more I study, more case I look for, more experience again. I understand, okay, more I have to learn here. Because that's the natural path of life, right? More you learn, more you understand that the chance that you have of things in the universe there is quite so big that you always have something to learn. And it can be different areas. You can learn more about waterfall. You can learn about more about agile. You can learn about Scrum. You can learn Kanban. You can learn finance. You can learn lean. You can learn about mindset. You can learn about coaching, neurolinguistic programming, and how you are going to use it with your team, how you can be more productive, and so on. There's always something that you can learn that you can improve. No one is going to be perfect in anything you do. So it's important that you have this conscious decision about that. Otherwise, you're just going to put yourself in a difficult position and you're going to struggle in everything that you do. And I don't want you to do that because one of my drivers here, one of my goals here is to help you to develop your project management skills. That's why I created this YouTube channel. That's why I have my Instagram account there where I share content. I have Q&A box. That's why I created even my project manager development program for people that want to work closer with me. I even create a mentoring program for really people that want to work with me one-on-one to develop their project management skills, to accelerate their career. Because my one of my goals here is to support you in that journey. Because I see project management as an essential skill for the society. All the change that we are talking about, the change that we need to drive as a society, they are going to go via projects, new products, new service, uh, energy transition, new technology, and so on. So this is a skill that's required for society. And of course, saying that, it also makes you feel good because you have a contribution to make. I have a contribution to make, and we are contributing for the world. That's a very important one. So make sure you settle yourself in the right path there if you want to grow into your career. As I mentioned, this content here, and just before I go there, if you agree with that, you just say yes. Write down in the comments here, yes, I agree. Yes, let's go. Let's do it together. Write it down in the comments here. That's important because then you that you understood and you show to me that at least my message is perceived. You mentioned that I mentioned to you that I always try to confirm the message I'm sharing here, and that's one of the ways that I'm trying to confirm here. So it's very important that if you understand that, you write something for me in the comments here, say, yes, I understand that. This is very important here that also help me to move forward with more content and help you to develop yourself. Because if my message doesn't get across, that's because I need to improve the way I'm communicating. And that's also very important feedback for me. And of course, don't forget to follow me for more content. But again, like also this content here, that helps me. That helps the YouTube to distribute this content for more people. That helps more people to learn project management. That help more people to develop their careers. And of course, don't forget to subscribe for the Project Management Summit. It's a free event, very nice event. I'm preparing a lot of new content. I'm remodulating uh, what I did there, so it's going to be different from what I've done in the past. I'm always working, trying to improve the content and make it better, making more actionable for you. So there's going to be content, there's going to be exercise, everything with the intent to help you in your project management career or to develop your project management skills. Because if your goal is to develop your project management skills, my goal is to support you in that journey. Thank you and see you soon.